Hello everyone. This is Dr. Swati Mishra from International School of Business Management at Suresh Gyan Vihar University, Jaipur. And we will be continuing with our further sessions of Indian business houses. We are Please remember that we are in the last unit of Indian business houses and we were discussing some big corporate frauds. We've already discussed the case of Satyam Computers, and now it is time for us to discuss a case study on Sahara India Group. So, talking about this case study, I just want to put a brief highlight or start my note with what is the scenario of corruption in Indian corporate world. First there was Ketan Parekh, then there was 2G, and then there were Satyam, Tatra, Saradha, and Sahara, and countless others. So, corruption has come to be viewed as an inevitable, if unfortunate, cost of getting things done in India. And corporate and political panjandrums resolutely adhere to this school of thought. This kind of large scale fraud is aided by the strong political corporate nexus that exists in India. Market regulators like the Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, are ultimately powerless in exercising strict control over financial institutions due to severe political pressure. So, this case would look into specific details of Sahara India investor fraud case to reveal the nature of the corporate scams in India, their ethical implications, and of course, their possible solutions. So, let's dive into greater depth and details about this case and find out what exactly happened with Sahara India. So, on February 26, 2014, shockwaves were felt through the country as the Supreme Court of India sanctioned on non-bailable warrant for the arrest of Sahara India Parivar's, chairman Subrat Roy. This decision attracted attention for one major, unexpected reason. One would consider the investor fraud worth more than $3 billion as incredulous under any circumstance. But corporate scandals of this nature in India have lost their propensity to amaze. Indeed, what was most surprising about this case was the real consequences for the perpetrator, a rarity for corporate crimes in India. Despite the immense political pressure and the regulatory body's own restraint powers, the Securities and Exchange Board of India managed to secure a landmark victory after an arduous 5-year battle against SARS. So let's just try to talk about what the Sahara is all about and who's the owner of Sahara. Anyways, all of you must be knowing it. Subrat Roy, born on 10th June 1948, who is the managing director and chairman of Sahara India Parivar, an Indian conglomerate with diversified businesses and assets, including Ambi Valley City and India's largest land bank spread in cities across India. Roy founded the company in 1978. He was named amongst the 10 most powerful people of India in 2012 by India Today. In 2004, Sahara Group was termed by the Time magazine as the second largest employer in India after Indian Railways, of course. The group operates through more than 5,000 establishments spread across India and has a workforce of around 1.2 million, both in field and office. under, of course, Sahara India umbrella. So now that I have just introduced you to the case and the owner of Sahara India who was found to be culprit in this case, let us just dive into the deeper details of the full story of Sahara India scam. So, Sahara India was a privately held company which was founded in 1978. Sahara scam is mainly associated with two major companies of Sahara Group, which are Sahara India Real Estate Corporation Limited (SIRECL) and Sahara Housing Investment Corporation Limited (SHICL). So, before we actually begin, you know, I will just let you know that there was a major hassle between Sahara India and SEBI. And what was that? That is what we'll be discussing now. So, on 30th September 2009, Sahara Prime City, a company of Sahara Group, filed a DRHP with SEBI for its IPO. While analyzing the DRHP, SEBI detected some errors in the fundraising process of the two companies of Sahara Group, namely Sahara India Real Estate Corporation and Sahara Housing Investment Corporation. So, during that exact period, SEBI received some complaints on 25th December 2009 and 4th January 2010 that SIRECL and SHICL, as aforementioned two companies of Sahara Group, they are issuing optionally fully convertible debentures and raising funds in a wrong way. I really hope that all of you know what OFCDs are. So, because of this, SEBI's doubts were proven right that, of course, Sahara was doing something very illegitimate to raise funds. And consequently, SEBI started investigating these two companies and also asked the Sahara India Group for detailed clarifications regarding their method of fundraising. Well, we all know that Securities Exchange Board of India has full rights to inquire any organization regarding the fundraising processes that they are using to raise funds from the general public through shares and debentures. So that is when, SEBI learned that SIRECL and SHICL have raised around 24,000 crores from 2 to 2.5 crores investors via the OFCDs. With this, SEBI got active and claimed its jurisdiction and objected on why Sahara has not taken permission from it before doing this. So, as a reply, Sahara claimed that the said bonds are a hybrid product, thus does not come under the jurisdiction of SEBI. Instead, they are governed by the Registrar of Companies (ROC) under the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, from which the two companies of Sahara have already taken permission and submitted the DRHP with the ROC before issuing the bonds. So, SEBI in return actually ordered Sahara's two companies to immediately stop raising money via OFCD and return the money to investors with 15% interest. Sahara approached Allahabad High Court challenging the SEBI's orders. In December 2010, Allahabad High Court restricted SEBI's order. In April 2011, Allahabad High Court cancelled the mentioned restriction and the case eventually came to the Supreme Court of India. There are multiple reports which also suggest that between the time that SEBI first initiated the inquiry and, of course, Roy's eventual detention, there has not been a single instance of an investor in either uh, of the two Sahara companies, which have been already explained to you earlier, uh, actually filing a police complaint or going to the court. So, it meant that, there was no single case of any investor of the two companies who had filed a police complaint or had appealed in any court regarding any kind of fraudulent activities by the company. However, this also points out the possibility of large scale money laundering by the Sahara Group to hide the black money. The group has failed to satisfy the Supreme Court's order to provide the evidence of the source of funds used to make the claimed return payments. So, this is what exactly happened between SEBI and Sahara Group and how their case reached the Supreme Court. So we all know that, any such kind of corporate cases can easily reach the Supreme Court, and then Supreme Court's decision has to be adhered to by both the parties. So then there were further proceedings of on the Sahara scam in somewhere around 2012 and 2013. So let's have a look at them as well. So somewhere in August 2012, the Supreme Court asked both the companies to deposit the money of OFCD holders with 15% interest within 3 months with SEBI. They were also asked to submit all the details of OFCD holders to SEBI so that SEBI can assure that the money reaches the investors without any hassles or without any problems. So during 2013, Sahara sent 127 trucks containing cartons which were full of details about OFCD holders to SEBI office. 127 trucks. Do you imagine? So SEBI rejected the second batch of files because the trucks reached after office hours, which was, as per Sahara, contained 25% of the investor information. Now, SEBI realized that the files do not contain proper and complete details about the investors. Hence, it was doubted to be a case of money laundering. So now let's have a look at what happened post that. So now Sahara failed to submit the money with SEBI with 15% interest within 3 months. Supreme Court ordered Sahara Group to make the payment in three installments. Sahara did pay the first installment of rupees 5,120 crores, but not the other two installments, and claimed that they have already made the payment to the investors. Among 2 to 2.5 crore investors, only 4,600 came forward to claim their money, upon which Sahara India said that the other investors did not come forward to claim as they have already been repaid. Upon being asked for evidence to prove so, Sahara India could not provide any such proof to SEBI or Supreme Court. Neither could they mention any source of income of the money which was repaid. So, by this time, both the Supreme Court and SEBI started considering it as a case of money laundering. Consequently, they started freezing the bank accounts of Sahara India along with their assets. So, this is what exactly happened with Sahara India, and we have, in short, reached the final part of Sahara India's case study. And just I want you people to have a look at, you know, what was the final court order on the Sahara India scam. So, on 26th February 2014, the chairman of Sahara Group, Subrat Roy, was arrested upon the orders of Supreme Court. In November 2017, Enforcement Directorate charged Sahara Group with the case of money laundering. Sahara Group has held a very shady business for a long time, but this time they're finally being caught in sight. So, this was not for the first time that Sahara Group was caught in conducting any kind of illegitimate or illegal activities. In 2007 till 2008, subsidiary of Sahara Group (SIFC) or Sahara India Financial Corporation was banned on issuing fresh deposits by RBI since it was caught doing unethical activities. So one has to, of course, remember that in corporate world, unethical activities might, for some time, take you to a very high peak and just draw in some crores of rupees for you. But because of the restricting agencies, the laws and the code that prevail in every country's economy and in India as well, just like any other country, and the law and jurisdiction of India is equally strong. So, if any corporate falls into fraudulent activities or any kind of corporate malpractices, they should be sure of getting caught one fine day. And when they get caught, the consequences are really, really very bad. And they can really fall into their own traps or a ditch that they have own dug. And this is exactly what happened with Sahara Group of companies. They dug their own ditch and they fell into it. Sahara Group's chairman is still on payroll because he was arrested and put into Tihar jail. And this was the slow demise of Sahara, which had started by that time. So, with this, I have explained you some details of Sahara Group of companies, what kind of fraudulent activities they conducted, because of which they could not survive in Indian industries, although they were one of the second largest employers in India, and Subrat Roy was amongst the top 10 businessmen in India at that time. But still, because of the frauds that they did, they had to face a major downfall. So this should be taken as a learning lesson by all the people, by all the viewers who intend to join corporate world in future or maybe start their own entrepreneurial firms in future. That no matter what you do, you always have to be very sensitive about the legalities of the activities which are conducted in any business. One should not go against the laws and jurisdiction, and one should always follow the norms of the jurisdiction and the Supreme Court's orders. Unless one is doing that, he should be ready to face the same consequences that Subrata Roy had to face. I might be sounding pretty harsh on you, but that is the truth. So, with this, we have almost come to the end of today's session. I know it was a very short session for today, but in the next session, we will be discussing a few more case studies of similar type where we will be discussing the frauds by different big Indian business houses. So that is all from my side for today. This is Dr. Swati Mishra from International School of Business Management signing off. If you have any queries regarding today's session, please leave a message in the comment box. I would be really happy to answer to your queries. Thank you so much for viewing this session. Bye bye. Have a nice day.